This is Eric Alexander, Six Arrows Consulting. Recently, I was in a conversation with some finance leaders and entrepreneurs, and we were talking about how do we deal with significant changes? How do we plan for big changes? What are things that help us lead through significant change? One of the topics that came up was trust and how powerful that is when you have a trust environment when you're going through change. And one of the comments along the way was, we need trust before we need trust. Now that sounds odd, but if you pause for a minute, it also makes a lot of sense. This is one of those instances where using the inflection in a video makes it a lot easier to catch than if we were trying to do this by writing. We need trust before we need trust. Let's unpack that just a little bit. There's a book that's been really helpful for me as I think and talk about trust and work with people and coach. The Speed of Trust by Stephen M.R. Covey. It's brilliant, practical, very helpful. He talks about key elements of trust in relationships and in organizations. The two key pieces are character, and the key parts of that are intent and integrity, and competence. And competence is made up of capabilities and results. We need character and we need competence. When that exists and we know that that's true about a person, we can place trust in them and be confident that that's a good thing for us to do. A couple of examples help me think through that. Let's say you know you're about to go under surgery. It helps if you know that your doctor, your anesthesiologist, all the medical people gathered around you have great competence. We don't normally think about the intent side of that, but there's also a character aspect too that could come into play. When Ronald Reagan suffered an assassination attempt, the story goes that when they rushed him into the hospital, he was about to go under surgery and he looked up at the doctors. I'm not sure exactly how the conversation went, but it was something like, I hope y'all aren't Democrats. The response was, Mr. President, today we're all Republicans. There was no need to worry about their intent. They were there to take care of him. Of course, that was their job. They had the competence. They also had the character. He could trust them. Think about it in a little more mundane sense. Let's say you've hired somebody in your finance team to take on responsibility for bank reconciliations. You're interested in both of those aspects too. Competence. Do they have the base skills where they can learn what we need them to do and do this well? Keep this important control on track and functioning all the time, but also character. Do we have confidence in their character that they're not going to try to pull shenanigans, try to defraud the company? So those are aspects that are really helpful. And another way to think about it is, what if we don't have trust in a relationship when we come to a point where we really do need trust, where we're placing reliance on somebody to accomplish something? Maybe I've got a financial planning and analysis manager. I need him to put together, under time pressure and with great confidentiality, a significant financial analysis for us to look at with the board. What if I don't know if he can do it? What if I don't know that he's trustworthy and keeping confidences? I need to know those things about him before I have a significant matter that I need to trust him with. Or what if I've got a new CFO? We're in a difficult operating economic environment perhaps, and I need her to go renegotiate things with the lenders. I need to know before I put her in that position where I'm placing confidence in her, trusting her to take care of matters, that she has the capabilities, she's able to deliver results, she has the character and the competence to deal with that. So what do we do about it? How do we develop that trust in an organization and in our relationships before we need that trust? Well, there's another book by Stephen M.R. Covey, Trust and Inspire. I'm partway through it right now, and he has an interesting section where he talks about how to develop trust. He says it's really a function of two things. We need somebody to be trustworthy. They need to demonstrate their character and their competence. They need to earn trust. At the same time, though, it really helps if somebody will be trusting, if they will extend trust, if they will give that other person the opportunity to demonstrate their character and competence, to earn that, give them the opportunity to earn that trust. So he talks about trust as a function of trustworthiness plus trusting. I like that formulation. It makes a lot of sense to me. So as relationships develop more and more trust, we find that we're able to develop the trust that we need and grow over time. We can grow a culture and an environment of trust. That way, when we're faced with challenges, we don't have to scramble around wondering about people's character or their competence. We've already developed the trust. We have the trust in place before we need the trust. We need trust before we need trust. Something to think about. Thanks for listening.